Hello all, and there's no intro because there's no Chase here. Chase had a family thing that he's not here for, unfortunately. I would say keep your thoughts for him because going through a lot of stuff, his family, especially in the last year. So there is all of that. But we are here to talk pro wrestling a little bit. This will probably be, we were just talking about it, maybe a very fast show. Meeting Chase is definitely here in spirit since he's the one that always doesn't let us ramble as much as we could. But we'll start off with Double or Nothing. You were there, so what? Just being there, kind of overall things. What would you say
compared to the other years as well as that you've been? Yeah. Like, what's like the atmosphere like?
Yeah, it's become like for those that don't know, it's been like a quasi tradition that I go to Double or Nothing with my college roommate. It's always Memorial Day weekend, and it always makes it easy for both of us to go. We routinely talk about attending the other AEW pay-per-views, and inevitably one or both of us back out because of life. So I'm happy that this one's been kind of consistent, and I had a great time. Certainly, we both were in agreement that it was better than last year's show. I feel like that's the consensus. I know the show's gotten some criticism, but it's gotten a lot of praise too, and I think the crowd was definitely much hotter to start the show than they were last year. There was definitely that problem where the opener and the MJF stuff, I think that was a lot to take in. And after the MJF stuff, especially, crowd kind of died down a bit. I think the match order had something to do with that too. Storm and Deeb and Beretta Cassidy was always going to kind of bring the crowd down. Those matches being in succession maybe didn't help. But I thought it was a great show. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was probably the weakest. We could talk about it when we go match by match. I thought it was probably the weakest Anarchy in the Arena we've had so far. But those matches are always just so much fun live. I've said that before on the show. I understand that normally crowd brawling, maybe you don't see it the best live, but there's just an atmosphere to that match, man. That stuff they do at the beginning when they play the music, it is like nothing I see in wrestling. Like it is just pure. You feel like you're in a rush. Like you feel like you're in the action. It is. That's the best way I can put it. Like it feels like you're part of the match. And every year, like my adrenaline goes up, my heart rate goes up. And this year especially, to see them play the final countdown is the closest I've come to getting emotional in a wrestling match because I didn't know if I would ever get that chance to participate in that since I go to shows so infrequently and Dragon only has so much time left. And I thought it was possible, but I wasn't sure that it would happen on the show. And the fact that we got it, I do think the first few minutes of that match does kind of translate the emotion live on the broadcast where you can just kind of feel the whole crowd like partaking in something. And so great.
Funny you said that about the crowd because I don't know if you've seen the show,
Not
but
yet.
on the actual show, the crowd seemed like they were pretty much with everything for most of the show, much more than you would probably expect. So that's kind of surprising that you would say that. So that's interesting. So, but I guess we'll start with the buy-in. I don't have a lot to say.
I didn't see the
buy-in.
Y'all go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't see
I
the
would
buy-in.
say of the matches, the Perazo and Rosa match was I
heard it was all right.
Yeah, it was all right. It was good. It was probably a match that should have been on here. They set it up to where we probably were going to get another match, which I'm fine with because I think they both are okay together. Perazo looked better with Thunder Rosa than she has with a lot of people. So,
man, what is the deal with her? Because
I think maybe I don't know. Maybe she just
is Deanna you're speaking about?
Yeah.
Maybe, in what sense?
Maybe it's like because like her aura, her in the ring, her promos just. She's not the same person she was in Impact. And I think a lot of it has to do with maybe this is just all too big for her. Like, honestly, maybe she's just one of those people that work better with smaller crowds. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
It's like Kylie Ray. Like Kylie Ray, just that moment. And I'm not put on the same, I'm not comparing them, but just like that, like maybe they just don't perform well in front of the big stage and they just prefer like the more intimate crowd. Maybe she's like that as well.
Because look, the last couple of years, like Deanna was like really cool in Impact. I don't know what the hell this shit is. No idea.
Maybe
her aura kind of killed, at least for a little bit for me, for her debut promo, just because she did come across like nervous. And I kind of gave her like, okay, like, you're nervous. Let's see what kind of, goes from there. And I don't think it's been a ton. I mean, she did the stuff with Taya, I think, and this stuff that she's done with Thunder Rosa has been decent on TV, but still, like you said, like there's no like real aura around her. Even though I like her, I just don't see that.
Do you think part of it is like that she needs more of like a hands-on approach instead of like what AEW does a lot of times, where it's a lot of hands-off? Just go out there, do your own thing. You think that might be part of it, and that she's kind of, because people have said that that's hard.
She's one of those people that may need to be coached. You might be right.
Who was that person? Was that D'Amore?
Maybe.
Yeah. What it was, and
it would have been. It could have been D'Amore. Could have been who was all there? D'Amore, Delirious. I'm not going to say freaking Tommy Dreamer, because I can't see Dreamer coaching anybody.
No, I thought D'Amore was the one that was doing all the knockout stuff. That's what
was it? He could have been. I mean, he's the one that did the knockout stuff when the knockouts were the knockouts.
Maybe it's worth trying out to see, not just for her, obviously. You would not bring her in just for Deonna Purrazzo, but is it worth bringing in just to see what he could potentially do to help out?
I mean, Will Osprey wants him there, so
yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it'd be, or Gail Kim. Someone brought up Gail Kim being there too, that she could have been. But I'm just wondering if that's part of it. But the 6-man was what it was.
It was a match. It was a
match. It was what it was.
It was a match.
Yeah. Is this the claim you're speaking about?
Yeah.
When is that time up? Like, when do we stop doing that?
So Caster's been a little more heelish in some of these promos lately, like very slightly, but he's like pumping up this whole "I'm the best wrestler in the world" stuff. They're growing out some facial hair. I do wonder if we're getting to a point where he either splits off or the group takes a turn. I think
it's perfect. Just turn him heel. He can go back doing this. Keep doing the same thing, the rapper gimmick, and put some people over, and then just see what you can do with Bowen. See if there's anything there with him.
These people have been high on him since he got in the company. So yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree.
Anthony Bowens was good, y'all. He's good, man. He's good.
Dude, they'll probably do like one last tag program with someone, and then maybe by like after All In, maybe All In seems like the classic place. Like on one of the undercard matches, Caster turns. That sounds like something AEW would do.
All right. So then we got the actual pay-per-view. We started with, I thought was the perfect match to probably start this off with before we even got everything with this match. But Will Osprey versus Roderick Strong. Will Osprey won, which I think most of us figured he was going to happen. I thought this was, it's really going to depend on what you think of, like, I think people, when they looked back on it, were much lower on the match than they were when they originally watched the match. Watching the match, I was really high on it. If you look back on it, I think from after watching the whole show, I could see people being much lower on it, but I thought this was still pretty great.
After watching the show, I think people would be higher on it.
You would think, because this was you know, arguably the best match, if not
a standout match.
It was one of two that I would say was match of the night. But
man, am I gonna be the guy then? Am I gonna be that guy?
You didn't like it? Stuff.
I didn't like it that much. I didn't the Don Callis stuff, man.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's
Will
not needed.
Will doesn't need it. He doesn't need it, bro. Like, why is he still aligned with this heel? Why? I always thought it was kind of flimsy to begin with, him being aligned with them. I get it for maybe Kenny, like, okay, I want you to help me beat Kenny, but he doesn't need this group, man. He did, and honestly, we don't need is he gonna do the Tiger Driver every match? Will don't need this, man. To me, this was the worst big match. Will, and don't get me wrong, still good. I don't think it was bad at all, but this is the worst, like, big show Will Osprey singles match that I've seen in some years now.
Oh, I would still say that, but I think that bar is crazy high too. I mean, that's the other part. Like, I thought this was, if you were going to put stars on it, just for reference, I would say 4, maybe 4 flat. But
a 4-star match, you sound like, oh man.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, match. You're used to,
I feel you though. you have expectations for Will Osprey,
Yeah.
especially with Roddy Strong.
Right.
You think they'll go out there and kill it.
Like,
but
I would say you felt like it under-delivered, but it was still great. So
right.
And I also feel like, and kid, I don't mean to insult you guys because I know you know better, but I also feel like this was a crowd of AEW fans, not necessarily smart fans, because they didn't know a lot of Roddy's offense. Like they didn't know, like, this is, oh my God, he's finished people with this. Oh my God. They didn't know. They just kind of sat there, Will kicks out. Oh, okay, all right. They knew all the Will
I can
stuff.
comment on this. I've started to. Am I here? Y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've started to notice. I think there's a group of people like myself that come to the show every year, but unlike me and my roommate who are following the TV every year, I feel like I'm noticing some fans are not always in tune to what's going on week to week leading up to the show. It's just like a Memorial Day Vegas tradition for them. Because I had a few people in my section that were like asking where Sammy Guevara was, like wondering whether or not Jericho was face or heel, like little things that you maybe wouldn't know if you just came to the show last year. And it makes sense to me. It's a tradition for me. It's probably a tradition for other people too. And their TV ratings are down, obviously. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's some of that going on, to your point, where they wouldn't be attuned with the Roddy Strong in particular. I mean, I thought it was a great match, though. Not going to lie. This was probably my favorite match live. It's up there. I'm not sure.
Like ever?
No. I think
no.
We said of the show.
Oh, for the show. Okay, I'm sorry. I was like, whoa, okay, that's high bar, but I got you. One thing I didn't like about the whole
I told
Tiger
Chase,
Driver thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead, kid.
Yeah, sorry, no, I'm bugging out right now. But I told Chase, I think a lot of the polarization of the show, I think a lot of the matches were between like 3.5 to 4.25 stars. There wasn't really a match of the year candidate. And depending on how many of those matches you thought was great or not, probably influences your view on the show. Like my friend Alex Khalil, he gave like 6 matches 4 stars. You probably think it's an awesome AEW pay-per-view if you think that way. If you think everything was below that line, you probably think it was one of the weaker AEW pay-per-views. So I think that's in part of it. And this match in particular, I thought was great. And I think I liked it the most of all the matches, but I thought a lot of the matches were really good.
People like that.
Well, you also have the point of when AEW pay-per-views don't like deliver at that insane bar that they normally don't. It's kind of like a Will Osprey match where it feels lackluster, even though it's really not a lackluster show. It's still a really good show. It's just not up to that great level. And I also wonder, like you were saying, with the fans being there, I wonder how many people now just go to the AEW pay-per-views because they know those pay-per-views are going to be at such a high level and they don't follow anything else. It's basically just people dropping in for to see these amazing shows. And that's gotta be
I'm kind of like that. I barely watch the TV week to week. I only watch stuff that people recommend because I'll get to that when we kind of talk about the wrap up to the show, because I think something dawned on me about AEW, but we'll talk about that in a second.
But then of course, after the match we got MJF's return. Fans seemed to like it. I thought it was pretty interesting. Yeah, it was. What
are you about to say? What are you about to say?
I was like, my only thing is that I'm interested to see if we're gonna get the character that was on this pay-per-view or if we're gonna get something different.
Oh, okay, all right, cool. Okay, fair. Okay.
Because if this is what we get, if it's him being the guy who we should have gotten for at least half of that stuff last year, great. If not, if we get back to him going back to, wanting to be John Cena, then not so great. So that's my only issue.
I thought this was the best thing on the whole show. Match, everything. I thought his promo was the best thing on the show. Oh my God. Like sometimes he gets on my fucking nerve. And this is why he gets on my fucking nerves. Because this boy is so talented. This guy is so talented. Like y'all know how I feel about Jay White. Y'all know how I feel about it. But like in MJF, to me, is like the way he sees pro wrestling. You know what I mean? It's why I love it's very similar. I love that shit. Because his whole thing is, maybe I'm not going to come out here and kill myself and give y'all these amazing spectacle matches that all y'all expect throughout. But I'm gonna make you feel, you know what I mean? And MJF, he knows exactly what to do to make you feel more than anyone I've maybe ever seen ever at such a young age. Bro.
Even when you don't like it.
Even when you don't like
the people were the crowds were
feel.
hot for the kangaroo kick. Like I thought it was goofy, but they were into it.
I hated the shit too, but I hated it. You know what I mean? I had an emotion. I felt something. Like, this boy is amazing, man. What the fuck? He said, I didn't need Vince McMahon or New Japan. I was like, I thought that was such a great line. And he was like, I'm done with the stupid shit. No more kangaroo kicks. I pushed over my coffee table, man. I was like, let's go. We're back, baby. We're back. I loved it, man. I loved it. Best thing on the show. Best thing on the show.
I just want to clarify like expectations here, because he is still cracking jokes in that promo.
Yes, but he's always done that though. So
he can't just lean into it, kid.
Yeah,
he can't just lean into it.
You can do the smarky like jokes like that he's always done. You just can't go full bore. We're going, like I said, you
the
can't
vignettes at Chili's
and be silly,
and you
man.
can't go full on
whatever.
John Cena. That's the best way I can explain it. But anyways,
he'll still do goofy stuff. He will. Like,
no, I'm sure he will.
Again, that's just I feel like that's just him. Like he's always gonna been that. Yeah. But I think there is a threshold that we as fans don't want to see him cross. And I feel like the back part of that year he was doing that.
Like he knew it was bullshit. Because like if you listen to what Dave Meltzer said, what Joe Lanza from Voices of Wrestling said, what a bunch of people said is that he DMs people. He was DM people last year like, hey, I know this is bad. So he knew, he was aware. He was aware, man.
They ruined that Full Gear main event. I don't care what nobody said. I hated that match. That whole storyline thing that they had. Yeah, they ruined that. All that goofiness they had going on.
Hey, listen. If you think you were mad, imagine how I felt. Imagine it's some mad as shit, man. As soon as he came driving that damn ambulance, bro, I was pissed. I
forgot about the ambulance. They did do that, man.
It was all like, it was. Okay.
Listen, he said he talked very well in that promo. Now it's just time to show it. I'm very excited to see what his first feud or, what he's going to do, because it seems like the Adam Cole thing, they got that out of here. Like, we're done with that right now. We might revisit it in the future, but right now, like, we are done with that.
I don't think Tony can resist the urge to do, like, one Dynamite main event with them on some stip that would probably pop a huge number.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Always did. Yeah. So
especially because you've now got for AEW pay-per-views, you've now got until All In. So you got plenty of time to do whatever you want on TV, and that's fine. But
is Adam Cole healthy?
Apparently not. That's why I assume that's why they did that.
Yeah.
In the meantime, go ahead and break that group up, because what are we doing at this point?
Right. And you didn't push that group hard enough anyways.
I mean, that's circumstances, you know what I'm saying? Like, the tough break for them, but at this point, just move on to something else.
But look, they should, I don't know if they want to do this. I think they should do something where, like, he faces Swerve for the title before All In, because I think that's still have Swerve win, but that's like a believable main event. Then I think the fans would buy into the drama of like, oh shit, are we going to put Max back in the All In main event? He's certainly over enough for that spot. I think that would be a fun thing to do. I hope they do. Still having Swerve win.
It's going to be tough because they said the Owen tournament winner is going to go to main event.
Have MJF win the Owen?
No. I'm saying
no. He's saying like between now and All In.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Oh yeah. You would have to do it before they book that winner. But I would be into that for sure.
But okay, then we had the trios title match, Bang Bang Gang versus Death Triangle.
Hey, you were right, Brandon. You were right. Now they just go by the Bang Bang.
I mentioned that a while ago. I was like, it was interesting. They didn't say anything. They just said Bang Bang Gang. So,
but I thought this was good. This was
good.
I would like a little bit more out of the trios, but given
look, man, it's better than their claim. It's better than their claim.
Yeah. So I'm fine with this. Like I said,
I
I think the last video, I really feel like this should be like the trios title should be like the TV tag titles where they get defended on the TV a lot. So,
and Kid, how did Juice Robinson's return come off on
hot, super hot?
Because like I had to cut down my TV. I was like, what the fuck's going on? I was in the kitchen. And then Juice Robinson, the crowd was going crazy. I was like, what, Juice Robinson? Okay, cool.
Yeah, people love Juice. It got a massive pop. And again, like for all the criticism of the run-ins of the show, there are some run-ins we can criticize, but I don't know how we can criticize the run-ins that were super over to the crowd, like that one was. Like it was great.
I think one of the things, and we can just kind of talk about this now. I think one of the things about a lot of the run-ins and a lot of the stuff is most of it made sense. Like a lot of it made sense in a lot of ways. I think the issue is I think people just are they're down on AEW, and so they want AEW to be like so far removed from that stuff that they just don't want to see it.
Why does this feel like we're talking about House of Torture and not?
Yeah, I'm just saying that I think that's probably the issue is that there was just too much of it. Like I said, there's been other AEW pay-per-views where the same thing happened, and people just kind of went, I wish they hadn't done it. But this pay-per-view, people were much harder on it. I'm wondering if it's just because the last month of TV, there's been a lot more of this, and people just don't want to see it. So because we'll get to it, but no, yeah. So I guess we'll see what the Juice stuff does.
Can they do a favor?
I know a lot of people are saying that they finally do some form of the War Dogs versus them at Forbidden Door, and I kind of feel like if you don't do it this year, it's never gonna happen. So
no, yeah.
Because I think seeing Gabe Kidd and like Juice Robinson riff off each other would be kind of cool. You know what I mean? So I don't know what we're doing. I don't know. Forbidden Door is going to be interesting. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I have no idea what we're getting because we'll see. Then we got the match that I wish wasn't on this pay-per-view: Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta.
No, wait.
Women's match.
No, the women's match is before that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Storm
yeah.
Storm indeed.
And which was fine.
Better than I thought it was gonna be.
It was
way better than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah,
my hot take. My hot take. Y'all ready for this? My hot take. I was actually really, really, really into this match. Like, other than maybe the first like 3 or 4 minutes, I thought like these women beat shit out of each other. I thought the finish was so hot. I even liked it. I can't believe I'm saying this. I even like the timeless Tony stuff. I like the stuff with the towel. I was like, I think people look too long in this match. Yeah, I think people just look because everyone hates fucking timeless Tony. I think if
it had been what we have now from the start, people wouldn't hate it nearly as much. But people are just so over it now that even though they've tweaked it a little bit to where it probably should have always been, that people are going to be like down on it. So
I love the finish of this too. Finish this match is dope as hell. What I don't know what she calls it, but the fucking El Phantasmo gimmick on the apron and then I thought that shit was awesome. I was with it all, man. I'm super into this match. Couldn't believe it.
I mean, I think, like I said,
I think the crowd.
What were we gonna say?
The crowd early on, I think the crowd early on was a little tough on this one. Maybe it didn't come that way across on TV, but it seemed like Deeb just like the Deeb stuff in particular wasn't getting over. Even though I was into it, a lot of other people weren't. But I will say the last like 5 to 10 minutes or so felt really hot live. It was certainly a hotter finishing sequence than the other women's match. Like we could talk about the overall match, but in terms of the finishing stretch, this one was better.
I can't wait to get to that, y'all. I can't wait.
I liked this match a lot. I thought it was really good.
I did too.
I bought that movie that they said this whole storyline is based off of, the Tony Storm and
All About Eve.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I'm curious. Like, does this story does she need to be the champion for this story to make sense?
No. Actually, it would be better if she wasn't the champion.
Because I feel like if they pivoted off of her being champion and moved it to someone else, like there's like damn it, 4 women's feuds
For
that they
the
could be
story
doing
to
on TV
really
at
like
once.
work like that, actually, she needs to not be like she needs to be a former champion. That would be the trying to get back to the championship with her protege. That would be the better. If you watch the movie, you'll see what I mean. But
gotcha. Yeah. I mean, she's champion. I mean, at least her matches are improving with the gimmick, but still would like to at this point see someone else with it now.
I don't know where if we're not doing the breakup now, it's like what's left for this title reign. Like very clearly it buries every face that it goes against. So
it needs to end it, or we need to have some sort of major turning point at Forbidden Door.
I told y'all, Mina Shirakawa, Tony Storm. Tony Storm goes too far on Mina. Mariah May goes, hey, what the fuck? This is maybe a closer friend than you are to me. You need to chill. And then there you go. That's how we get to,
All right. But yeah.
But then she would also have to win the Owen as well because the winner's going to All In.
That's true.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, it seems like
what the hell is Jamie Hayter?
Yeah, I was gonna say either Mariah or a return. A return of someone who's not currently on the roster is probably how the Owen shakes out.
All right.
Now we can talk about the match that I don't know why it was on this paper. Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta.
It was all right though. Yeah, it should not have been on the pay-per-view. It was all right, but it should not have been on the pay-per-view.
And my thing with this is a match that should have happened a year and a half ago. I think it would have been there would have been more heat to it. People would have cared more. We were what 2-3 years into this whole thing and it hasn't been hot enough for it to last that long. So I think a year ago this would have been a better thing. So
imagine if Trent turns on Orange Cassidy while he was the champion. Imagine that.
Right.
Would have been great. Would have been incredible.
Especially the first run. The first run.
Yeah.
Not maybe so much the second run, but the first run for sure. So
I still got to watch this one back. I missed the first half of it. I bet that the Deeb Serena match would be better. I mean, Deeb Storm match. So during that match, a lot of people went to concessions, which I thought was not the right choice. So I did that during this match instead. So I got nothing to add.
You made the right choice.
Yeah, you
did you?
And kid, you have seen the first half of this match. Trust me, you have.
Were you all upset? Like overall, were you upset with the length of the pay-per-view? Like, did it upset you that it was so long? Because it seems like a lot of people were upset about it.
I don't think the people live there seemed upset because they were into it for almost the entire show. So,
but as a viewer, it went like an extra 20, 25 minutes. It wasn't like egregious. This was like the Double or Nothing from the one that Punk
2 years ago.
The Punk one. They went a little bit longer. It wasn't that long. Granted, the AEW shows are long, but notoriously long. But we know that at that point. We know we're getting a 4-hour show every single time we go out.
I think people are just maybe, especially with the more shows, I think they're just done with the longer show.
But they're still charging us $50. It was like, and you don't have to just
nobody cares. Nobody cares if this show is like fantastic. AEW just has to put on fantastic shows. You don't even like because back before, the only people that would bring that up are like people that don't really watch the show anyway, looking for anything to complain about. The people we don't need to pay attention to. You know what I mean? Because this show isn't as good as some of their other shows, that's why everybody's talking about it. Because like Brandon said, it's not that much longer. It's like one match longer than what they usually, you know what I mean? So
one match longer, and they had the promo, which the promo wasn't that long.
No.
But they had that segment in at the start of the show. Other than that, it wasn't anything.
I mean, I agree with you that it seems when you look at the how long the show actually was, because I looked today, I was like, how actually, and I looked and it was
like 4:30.
It's like 4:30. If you add in the pre-show, it's like 5 hours and 30 minutes, which isn't like that much longer. Like you said, it's like 30 minutes longer than what I would prefer. It did feel long though, I would say, and probably part of it is just because, and I also wish AEW would not try to do the I really wish they would put the matches in better order. I think that's another
Right.
issue.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yes.
But you have that lull. You have that lull every single pay-per-view. I felt like this match was the one that started
This
the
match
lull.
was the lull.
They
Yeah.
just need to do like New Japan type of show booking where you start off,
Bottom
you
to
can
top.
have your hot match, you can have your hot match at the top, and then everything, and then bottom to top, and just go
Right.
like that. And I don't think people would feel like it was as long because you would get all of the
business end is at the end. All the
Right.
rest of the stuff, you'd be like, oh, that was fine. That was cool. That
Right.
was fine.
Well,
but then
well,
the end of this stuff,
you're
you're
like
right.
new, you're watching, you're not tired yet, you haven't watched a lot of you haven't invested a lot, and then at the end is all the good stuff that you're looking forward to anyway, so that helps. So
And I will say, like, when the black match ended, by that point there was only an hour left on the traditional time frame. And if they only gave an hour to those 3 main events, like, that would have been worse. It would have been worse if one of those matches got shortchanged. So of the 2 decisions, shortchange your main event or going a little longer, that's clearly the right choice. And the crowd was with it. Like, you complain about the long show when you feel like the crowd is dying down towards the end, and that's not what happened. So I feel like it's just like an automatic criticism. It's
And
like,
this is the show to do that with Anarchy in the arena, everyone going crazy. You know, that makes perfect sense for sure.
Complain about nothing. I said it.
Also,
nothing.
these people have FOMO and they can't just stop watching and watch the rest tomorrow, but they can't because they're going to be afraid they're going to miss something. So, I don't get it. It wasn't that long.
then we got,
but this was the start of the lull for sure.
Yeah,
between this and the FTW match.
The FTW match, whatever. Like we came on here, we gave Chris Jericho props, and then after that, we got that weird 3-way, and then we got this. So, whatever.
I didn't hate this stuff.
Yeah,
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I just think, and this happens with Chris Jericho matches a lot, completely overthought. Just keep it basic. I think I think that there's a lot of overthinking when it comes to a lot of Chris Jericho.
I love the gimmick though.
I love the gimmick. I think the gimmick
was growing on me.
Works. Yeah, it's starting to work, which is what we talked about last time. But I just think that sometimes he has a tendency, or whoever helps him, and anyone with the ideas around, I think they overthink a lot of things, and they just need to sometimes dial it back and make things a lot more basic. I think this match would have benefited from that a lot, personally.
Now, a part of me thinks this is weird because this is all for Taz's FTW championship.
Yeah, this didn't need to be on pay-per-view at all.
It's a little weird for me. It fits the story, don't get me wrong, but man, this is the the world title. What? Excuse me, for the world title. Excuse me. Sorry.
Like I said earlier, every match was between like 3.5 and 4 stars, and depending on what spectrum you fell on, viewed your show. This was not one of those matches. I probably the weakest live, but I thought it was fine. I feel a lot of people hate this match. So I was curious if you guys hated it on viewing.
No.
The Jericho, 2 things to watch on this Jericho stuff. People are going to start singing "I Am a Learning Tree" when that stuff plays at his entrance, and a lot of people in the crowd, I don't know if it's visible on TV, they're waving at him. Most of the crowd is waving back at him when he does that wave to the fans. I feel like that's going to be.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see
that. Bro. His son of a bitch, man. This fucking genius. I hate this guy, man. I hate this guy so much because every time I go, "Hey, it's too much. Hey, he needs to go away.
It's time to step away." Yeah,
he does something, man. He always does. It never fails.
But he give him credit. We said step away, but the other option was be like fully removed from the main event scene, which he currently is.
Right.
So it's not. He's not.
I mean, he gets a lot of false criticism for a lot of stupid shit, like burying people, the whole Jericho Vortex thing, which I can see why people think that, but I don't think that's Jericho's fault. I would put that.
He loses so much.
I would put that far more on Tony for not
following through.
Yeah, following through once somebody is done with him, they just fall off the earth. So I put that much more on Tony. But
do you guys think every match he's gonna have like a different thing in that bag, like the puck, the dice?
Yeah, that seems to be the thing.
Yeah.
And then one day he's just gonna have thumbtacks. Oh man,
or something crazy.
Yeah.
You know what would be really funny if one day he brings out a pizza cutter. That would be, especially if he's like doing like a painmaker type gimmick. But then we got a match that I felt completely underdelivered. Even though
I agree with you.
Pretty good. Even though it was still pretty good, but John Moxley versus
Takeshita.
I look at his name.
I
look at his name. I look at his name. I'm like, I should not even look at his name.
Konosuke Takeshita.
But politics ruin this. Politics.
Not even
DDT wrestler. Yeah.
Not even that. I wouldn't even say that. I would say that. I mean, they had a match. This was another one where you can definitely point to.
The injury angle was kind of weird. I mean, I know why they did it, but
it was just
I don't know.
Too much.
Do you know why they did it? Because I don't.
It happened on
explain that to me,
wasn't on Collision?
Yeah, it was to give you as a fan a reason to think that Takeshita could win because it gives Moxley an out. Even though they were never going to beat him, but it just made you think that maybe he could.
But if that is the case, wouldn't it just be better if him and Takeshita just had a competitive match and Takeshita almost wins? And then he loses, and then Don Callis family jumps Moxley and fucks his arm up, so Evil can win the title and piss everybody off in a week. Oh man, hey, I think Evil's gonna win, which is crazy.
But yeah, like I thought this was still really good, but I thought it completely underdelivered. I had high hopes for this match.
The worst of their 3 matches, for sure.
Yeah,
just including his opinion. Obviously, he's going through a lot right now. But Chase told me this was his favorite match on the show, so I wasn't sure if on TV. I mean, I thought it was good, but I thought it was like all the matches on the show that were like good, pretty good, very good. Like this one had the least heat of all those matches, though. I would say, from at least my.
I think at this point, people were probably waiting for the big matches to happen when this was going on.
Wait, no, Tom, this was Chase's favorite match on the show.
Yeah.
I thought the other match was his favorite match on the show.
No, the other match was his second, and this was his best. Unless he rewatched it and changed his mind. That's what he texted me on Sunday.
I thought when he okay. Well, anyways,
I love Chase, but you're a weird guy. You're a weird guy.
Then we had the barbed wire cage match.
Broken fibia.
Not what I wanted, but they still did a pretty good job with it. So
why do they put the chairs and the tables in the ring? So like, okay, cool. It's a cage match. They want,
so much
but yeah, so they want this spot. Cool, I get it. You go to cage match, you can do your stuff, and they use it, and then they still ended up on the outside of the cage. Like, okay, then what was the point of putting that stuff in there?
Stop thinking so much about it, Brandon. Y'all ready for my hot take? Y'all ready for the hottest take? Maybe on the internet.
Best match on the show.
No.
I do think it's the best match on the show, and I think that's the best singles match of Edge's career. Yeah, that's right.
Wow,
that's right. Take them Undertaker matches? No. Take the Christian matches? Nah. Them what else? I'm talking about just
Randy Orton, the best wrestling match ever.
Randy Orton.
Yeah. No.
Better than
I'm talking about just singles match.
Better than the Foley match.
See. Okay. All right. That's the one.
You can't say something like that and not be ready to talk about it.
Defend yourself.
Okay, that's the one where I'm like, okay, maybe. But that one is so it's so short shit. But it's told a story. They had that crowd, like that kid, y'all were on the edge of y'all seat. You know what I mean? It did great sports entertainment. Had a crazy spot. I actually thought Edge fucking up the elbow made it look better, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like it looked wild. Like him
so.
I don't think. Well, obviously.
So.
But no, like seriously, I was so impressed with his performance, and I legit think that's the best match of his career. The Foley match, maybe, but like I think it's in the debate. I think it's one of the 2 best matches of his career. I think it's better than all them overrated CM Punk matches, all those overrated Undertaker matches, especially that WrestleMania match.
CM Punk, you got matches with Punk?
Yeah, he got a couple matches with Punk, but yeah, overrated. Yeah, but especially that Randy Orton match, the greatest WrestleMania match. I think it's better than that. Love that match, man. I love, and the Gangrel moment was awesome. And I'm no Brood guy. And also Edge's entrance. I keep calling him Edge. Adam Copeland's entrance with the Slayer playing with South Heaven. You want to earn points with me, buddy? You play Slayer. So yeah, I like that, man. I like Derek. I even like the tease of the turn with the House of Black. I thought all this shit worked. That's just me.
So here's a question. How is this very evident now that since he's been in AEW and we've seen him do some very similar stories that he did in WWE, that he definitely wasn't getting as much creative input as maybe we thought he was getting when he was there?
I don't know. I don't know if we can say that.
He told Chris Van Vliet, I wanted to bring Gangrel at WrestleMania in the Finn Balor match.
How you say his name? How you say his name?
Whatever his name is.
Chris Van Vliet.
I thought it was Van Vliet.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm doing the French pronunciation.
That's all
Anyways,
good.
he told him he wanted to bring Gangrel at WrestleMania. He fought for it, and WWE said no. This is a very highly paid veteran wrestler that usually has, quote unquote, like all the influence in that company. And something as stupid as just having your manager at ringside for this match, they wouldn't let him do that. So I can only imagine for more higher stakes stuff that influence the story, influence the other wrestlers, I would kind of tend to believe that they don't give him as much freedom as we might have thought.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Like if this is,
I thought the Gangrel thing was perfect too because he came in at the end and that was it. Like it wasn't like he hung around or anything like that. It was the and I hate nostalgia. I hate that shit. And I'm no rude guy, but it was very well placed, man. Like I was into all that. Like I even got kind of excited, and I have no attachment to Gangrel, so I love that match, man.
I want to say, again, I feel like the use of sports entertainment in AEW is too broad. Like now it basically applies to anything that's not like straight wrestling. And this is an example of something that really worked with the AEW fan base. So people out there, like if you didn't like this, that's fine. What I don't want to hear is this is not what AEW fans want. Yes, it is. A lot of AEW fans really enjoyed this moment.
I think this would have been. I think the whole match would have been better if you wouldn't have had the stuff before it. I think this, and then to an extent the women's match after. Both were the two matches that you expected this sort of wackiness with, anyways. But then you had the stuff, all of the wackiness before, and I think that's what. I mean, it didn't bother me as much because I'm just like, whatever, it is what it is. But and as long as stuff like that makes sense to me, I did think this match was complete nonsensical in the sense of Brandon said, with the weapons and the chairs and the tables and in the all of that, and the whole reason you had the cage match, ended up not being good anyways. Even though you had a barbed wire cage match, so that was silly too. But I mean, just
it didn't hurt the match by having that cage.
Stop nitpicking.
But if you just watch the match and kind of just watch it as a match, it's really good. So there you go.
I do just want to add
one thing I find interesting though. No, go ahead, kid. No, go ahead.
Very, very quickly, I didn't get to talk about it on the previous show with you guys, but I really hated on Dynamite when Swerve brought the Gates of Agony to defend him against Cage's family, and then he got beaten down by the Gates of Agony. Since that was the second week in a row he got beaten down by a heel faction, I thought it made him look weak. It made him look like he was outsmarted by the heels. And that's why this fake turn I thought was a lot better. It's sure, maybe Edge's character would have been happy if the house flipped to join him, but he always had Gangrel in his back pocket. He always had that thing he knew to help him if that didn't go according to plan. He doesn't come out like he was dumbfounded by the heels. He came out like he was one step ahead of them. And I thought that's why this fake turn was a lot more effective than what they did with Swerve on Dynamite.
I agree. And I think it's very interesting that this motherfucker Malachi Black, this might be his last match in the company, and he couldn't even eat it. He hasn't tapped. He hasn't been pinned.
His first loss in 3 years.
He was like, I'm going to pass out. I'm going to.
It's the first time. I guess Cody was the last person to beat him, right?
It was his first singles loss since 2021.
Damn. Good work.
Unbelievable, man.
All right. Then we got the women's title match. Mercedes versus Willow. I know.
It's on Marquine. It's on him.
I know. Let's go, Marquine. Go piss people off.
Listen. I want y'all to know, I think this match was good before I say anything, okay? think it was very good. I think it may be even great. Fine, you want to go that far? Let's go great. I think that Willow Nightingale. You know who Mercedes Mone reminded me of during this long, elaborate interest with the drums and all this stuff? Alberto Del Rio.
That's
a
random.
whole lot of pomp and circumstance to silence, to fucking silence. The match started, people got into her. Obviously, you know, she's right. That's what
You
she does
compared
well.
Mercedes to Alberto Del Rio. Alberto El Patron.
Yes,
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, she came out to silence, Brandon. It was quiet.
But how much of that was because she hasn't wrestled, and everyone was like, "Okay, you kind of have to prove it to us," which she did.
And Josh, she did. And Josh, that's fine. That's fine. But you would gain a lot of leeway and shit if your promos were good, if you came off other than something as goofy, if you were a legit draw, like you claim to be, instead of somebody who just wrestled on Raw and SmackDown. Just saying. Yeah. Well, let's be honest. Let's be honest. This woman is a great pro wrestler. When the bell rings, she is a great pro wrestler. Everything else, though, come on, man. Come on. She cannot talk. She's not the ratings draw that people act like she hasn't been for years since the WWE. She don't move tickets like motherfuckers said. She did twice. She did, and one of those times, I'm not even 100% sure it was just her. I'm just saying, bro. Like all the star power of Mercedes Mone is vastly overrated. So much so that the person that wasn't supposed to get as over as they did was the biggest star when the match started.
But you say that, man. But the whole match was designed to get Willow over.
What about everything before that, though? What about everything before that, John?
I understand, but the whole match was designed to get Willow over.
I'm tired of people making excuses for this woman.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. But her star was supposed to dwarf Willow's. Her star was supposed to. It did not.
Who has Willow ever been in the ring with that she did not? That she was not more over with because she connects to the fans better than.
It was supposed to be Mercedes, guys.
No,
yes,
we all came on here and said and said the exact same thing, that the best thing for this whole feud would be for Mercedes to be heel because that would not work versus Willow. You cannot. I don't think there is anybody in pro wrestling.
Is she definitively a heel? Can you say that definitively?
No, I don't. I think that's a mistake. I'm not saying that. I agree that
because they want people to cheer her, man. They want people to cheer her. She just sucks at it. She just sucks at it, man.
I don't disagree with that. She should be a heel. She comes off so much better as a heel.
I like her matches. I like this match. But we have to be honest. Why do we constantly make concessions for this one? I don't understand.
How are we making concessions?
And I'm not talking about you guys. I'm saying in general, bro. In the vast majority of the pro wrestling landscape acts like this woman is something that she's Manami Toyota or something like that. This is just Mercedes Mone. Let's calm down. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. The match is good. And you know my other take. Hold on, kid. You know my other take. I don't even think it was that much better than the other match. Like, it was great. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it was that much better than the other. I'm just saying. I don't think it was that.
I was way more invested in this match than I was.
Yeah, I think you're
because you don't like Tony. I'm talking about just the work.
I appreciate Tony's work, especially that she's changed it up. And I was into that match. I was way more into.
It's not better. I'm not saying it's not better, but it's not.
You got people thinking this was the best match of the night, so I don't know what you're.
And I think all those people are crazy. But
I just wanted Mercedes to show up, bro. That's all I wanted. Like everything over the past couple weeks, months. Yeah, it definitely has been hitting with me, but it was all about when she gets into the ring, is it going to look good? Is it going to work? And it did. She looked great. And the match was great.
And she made Willow look great. That was the other part. Willow came out, even though she lost, she came out better at the end of this match than she probably went in. And that's saying a lot.
She's a great wrestler. I've never not said this woman's a great wrestler. I said everything else. Overrated as fuck.
Damn.
Another thing too.
She didn't have to do that though. She didn't have to.
He can't.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, kid.
No,
Go ahead.
I mean, when the chef is cooking, I don't want to like disturb him in any way. So by all means, it was hot.
No, go ahead, kid. Go ahead.
I will just say, like, I do see a lot of people saying like this was the hottest thing on the show, and maybe that beginning segment in the match, not the entrances, but in the match where they're doing
the start was very hot. Yeah.
Sure, but I'm telling you, like those after the Dr. Bomb near fall of Stat and Stokely like distracting the ref, after that it kind of died down and the finish was flat as hell. And that's not
how much of the finish being flat was because
her finish
was trying to do that stupid fucking.
I don't think it's just the move. I don't.
Yeah, it wouldn't just be the move. Yeah, because that was 3 seconds in this long match. So I agree.
It wasn't crescendoing. It wasn't crescendoing to that point, anyways. Like the finish is the easy excuse, but I think even before that, we weren't like jumping up to that level down the stretch like we were in the other women's match, for example. So yeah, no, I thought it was very good. But to me, it was just like one of all those matches on the show that are very good. I didn't think it stood out. I didn't think it was that special. I thought the other women's match was just as good live, if not better. I'd have to watch both on broadcast. But yeah,
he was there. He was there. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Just saying.
You said Mercedes. You compared Mercedes Moné to Alberto El Patron. Do you hear yourself right now?
Think about
why him? Why him?
Because it just reminds me of when he first showed up in the WWE. All this pomp and circumstance, the cars, the mariachi band, all this stuff to silence, which is what she did to silence. I'm just saying, silence, man.
Okay.
Crowd was going crazy. Then Willow's goofy music hits and everybody, yay! Like, how is it so night and day? How is it so night and day? Just saying. Also, it is diminishing returns from this point. Because think about it. This is her debut. This is the first match. This is her first time in the ring, blah, blah. The second time, the third time, it's not going to be a special. Just saying. It's not going to be a special. Diminishing returns from this point. And people said this fucking match should have main evented. I was waiting for this moment. I'm like, this match over Anarchy in the arena?
Oh, you hate on your girl Lyrics? Damn.
This? No, I love Lyric. And I know why she loves Mercedes. Hell, I like her matches. I love her matches. Think she's a great wrestler. But everything else, just overrated. That's all. That's all, man. That's all. And people cannot be honest probably be because better. They like her matches so much.
But Markeem, it'll be better, I think, when she hits the heel stuff a little more strongly. Because to your own admission, you haven't even seen it yet. You haven't seen the full-fledged commitment to that role. Because I do agree, like in terms of like being a face, it's just not AEW. Like this overly commercialized, I'm richer than you, I'm better than you. Like that does not connect.
But is that like a self-aware thing at this point? Is that going to be a little meta where like she knows that we don't like that WWE stuff, so she's just going to lean into it to be that heel?
I certainly hope so. For her sake, I certainly hope so. Just saying. Just saying. Look, man. Look.
I am tired of saying hello to my new CEO, so she needs to get another.
She's fucking corny, man. She's a cornball, man. Corny. Everything about her is corny, except when that bell rings. I knew it was gonna be good. She's a great wrestler. The last match was good till she got hurt. She's a great wrestler. Everything else sucks, though. Everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Everything else sucks. Not just some of it. It all. I think her theme
song sucks. Her finish sucks.
I think her. Yeah, exactly. I think her fucking entrance where she just like dances off beat and shit.
Chill.
I think it all sucks, man.
She be moving that thing out there. Chill out, okay? Give her a little bit of credit.
Just saying, man. That bell ring thing, though. That bell ring, she's dope. The Drake of women's wrestling. That's funny. I hate the way she walks. I hate the way she takes it. Oh man, y'all go ahead. I'm sorry. I can talk about this shit all night.
I'm curious where she goes after this.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll see. I'm sure we'll see on Dynamite. Like they'll have
bad promos talking about how she's the new CEO every week, not wrestling. That's what's gonna happen. How much y'all want to bet?
If a Britt
How much y'all want
to
to bet?
show up, I want.
And I'm gonna come on this show, and I'm gonna take Joe Lanza-esque victory lap when she's just doing bad promos every week with this belt, doing stupid dances, feuding with people that can't beat her. And then she's a star. Yeah. I can't wait. I cannot wait because I know I'm gonna be right. I know I'm gonna be right. But go ahead, y'all.
Okay.
Wow.
I've been holding that in, John.
The hate segment is over. The hate segment is over.
Okay. Then we have.
You know the sad part though, real quick.
Oh my God.
You can't let it go.
Hold on, real quick. The one thing that'll get lost in everything I said though is that I said she was a great wrestler. That I'm just saying. That's the one thing that'll get lost in everything else because fans got it. Stands got to stand.
So let me ask you this: Forbidden Door. If you were to put her against somebody, who would you put her against?
You talking about from like Stardom or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, she has to win. So it has to be a star. So not Micah. Oh, they better not do Momo. I'm gonna be mad. Probably Azumi. I'd say Azumi. That'd be fine. Her and Azumi be fine. 1-on-1. That'd be good.
Wouldn't that be funny that you could actually go all the way back to that first New Japan, like when
she was calling it AZM and stuff.
Yeah.
Now I ain't gonna lie, I did kind of like that because I think that she was doing that on purpose. See, I think that was on purpose.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's no way she didn't know. She clearly watches Stardom. No way she actually thought her name was AZM. But you can go back to that. That's fine. Look, that'll work, and I'll be with it. Because I think if you saw the three-way they had amazing chemistry with her and Hazuki and amazing. Just them two, amazing chemistry. See, I'm with that. She can wrestle. Great wrestler.
Okay. So then we had the title match, Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage. It was good. That's about. I don't know why they did this. This just did not help Swerve. Like this match didn't help Swerve one bit. I don't think he won, but didn't help him. I still think this is a weak title reign. So
he looked good.
I
felt he even kind of towards the end dominant. Like the way he ended the match, I was like, "Damn, did he squash him? Did I just miss a match or something like that?" But
that finish was amazing. That fucking what he calls that kick goes, woo, boy. That shit was great. I ain't gonna lie, that finish was dope. But yeah, I'm with Josh. It was pretty boring into that though, honestly.
Should Swerve? There's probably no way to do this, but I feel like if you put him in like another mid-card match on Forbidden Door, it's just further reinforcing that he's not like the main part of this program, despite being the world champion. And I'm not saying you put him on last, but I wonder if another month where he is like in the middle of Dynamite, in the second segment on Dynamite, and not the emphasis of the show, is that just going to make this reign even worse going into All In?
All right, so I know who Swerve said he wanted to face. I know he said he wanted to face Shingo Takagi. So he said he wanted to face. Being honest, I don't think that. Like, do you think that's a main event match for Forbidden Door though?
Yeah, at Forbidden Door in front of that crowd.
You think so?
Yeah, because they're just going to look at it like we're going to get an awesome Shingo match, and that's all they're going to care about.
I mean, who else would you put there?
I don't know.
Because for political reasons, you can't put like.
Unless you give him a CMLL guy or something.
Naito is not going to lose the Swerve in that spot. So yeah, yeah, I got you.
And I mean, he would be the only other guy. So unless you put him in a tag, you could maybe put Swerve in a tag with somebody.
In like the main event though.
But I'm just saying, I don't know what you like.
That's what's going to make this card so interesting.
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to put together?
But I mean, logically, you would think if you weren't concerned about Swerve's diminishing stature. Logically, you just put Moxley in the main event because it, best combines AEW and New Japan. But yeah,
he's the champion by then. Yeah, we may have to sit through it. I don't want to sit through an evil main event.
Hey, a part of me wants him to win because I want to see.
They could not have an evil match in the States. That's going to be like so bad.
Oh, I want to see that match in front of that crowd. I kind of want to win.
Because that's not going to be a Japan crowd. That's going to be but they'll be like, hey, he's getting heat because they'll be getting the, probably fuck you chants and all sorts of bullshit.
Because I want to know because like I keep saying it because I've almost come around on House of Torture, not quite, but the idea of them I've come around on. I have not come around on them being in main events though, never. But I'm maybe not in the main event, but I'm really curious if he can make that work here. You know what I mean? Like just that stuff. I'm really curious. Not in the main event though. No.
Right.
But like have them maybe like tag against like a group of baby faces from AEW and see if they like have the whole group to see if they can make it work. That'd be kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
I think in terms of this pay-per-view, I think this match is the biggest disconnect I have with the viewing audience. I really loved it. Not that I thought it was like better than the opener or anything like that, but I really liked it live. And I noticed that Brian Alvarez said the same. Brian Rose said the same. Those of us that were there, I think, dug this a little bit more than you guys did. I think part of that reason is that ejection stuff of like Nana getting ejected first and then the patriarchy getting ejected after. That was super hot live. Like everyone was like really, really into that. And maybe on TV that just comes off as another wrestling ejection that you just put off to the side. But all the Nana stuff was really hot. And I thought the last like 5-10 minutes or so were damn good. Damn good.
Right.
I like this better than the Mercedes match. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I actually don't agree. But
But you just love the hate.
Get
So
her,
you'll cheer it on.
Get her. No, I don't agree though. But yeah, I love the finish, man. That kick. Have y'all seen like the video of it in slow motion?
Yeah.
Where he's going for. Ooh man. Man. That's like the logo for AEW now. If they wanted like a Jordan logo or fucking Jerry West with the ball, that's the logo right there. AEW.
Hey, apparently the Bucks' new shoes are selling like absolute craziness. So
funny. So I was gonna wait till we got to the match. I want to talk about it. So I got on Champ Sports, right, and I got in line.
You were gonna buy some?
I was gonna buy some. I wear a size 14. I was in line. I got in because the link went live. I want to say it was 8 a.m. I was there 8:05, just in line. When I got to, it was my turn to purchase them. They had 12. They had 15. And I was like, do I go a size bigger? I decided against it, but I almost got a pair. But yeah, they moving. They're moving, man. Oh yeah, R.I.P. Bill Walton. Somebody put it in the chat. Yeah. But yeah, those things are moving, man. They're stars.
Speaking since just a quick question to you guys. Do you think it's weird, or do you think it's kind of justice that people, since Bill Walton passed, that people are now seeing the other side of his career that most people are probably too young to really understand? Like when he was actually
healthy?
When he was player, when he was healthy.
Yeah, for that little bit of time he was healthy, he was
maybe
the best player in the world.
Before his knees said nope.
Yeah. It's just like a little bit of time, but he got into the Hall of Fame with it.
Yeah.
Everybody say he got in the Hall of Fame for other reasons, which is fine, but
a lot of the Hall of Fame.
A lot of people don't agree with him being in the Hall of Fame because of
but the
how
thing is,
little that time.
It's the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's not the NBA Hall of Fame. So your college career goes into that.
Yeah, like his college career.
He's probably
second, the second best college player of all time. I would say. Like Kareem is for Lou Alcindor's first, and then probably Bill Walton.
Yeah. So that's the thing, and then just everything else, and he was a good ambassador for the sport. So So anyways, to this main event, or as I like to call it, let's get all the concerned trolls like super excited because of all the shit that happened in this match. We had fire. We actually had the blowtorch used, which the flamethrower used, which of course no one thought, but we got it.
That water spot was very smart. That water spot was very smart. They dunked him in that water.
So
that was very smart.
So you didn't realize he had the gel on, so that was cool. And then of course everyone upset about Darby hanging, which is ridiculous. But anyways, I thought probably the weakest of these matches, but that was going to happen because this probably had the least amount of heat going into it, but it was still a lot of fun. I
got the most memorable spot out of all of them.
Yeah, I mean, absolute craziness. What did you? So one thing you said that I think is interesting, because being at shows and seeing the crazy brawls, and the crowds and how much they suck when you're there live versus like being able to see on TV. Mm-hmm. I think it's interesting that you said that you thought maybe this was better live than what we maybe saw on TV. That's kind of crazy.
Well, I think that's been my stance for all these matches. But granted, the prior two were really well received independently, so like there was like the difference was almost negligible. But like I said at the beginning, I just think there's just an energy to being there for these matches. Like you feel like you're part of a party. Like you feel like you're in the match, and even when you're like missing an individual spot, that energy just keeps your attention on the match and just keeps you so excited for a very long time. These matches are always 30 minutes long, and I always have so much fun. And it is cool that you're seeing everything all at once, and you can kind of get a good view of where all the spots are happening. On TV, we're constantly cutting between backstage and this side of the ring and that side of the ring. And when I watch on TV, I feel like that takes me out of it a little bit, whereas I feel like just absorbing the entirety of it and the rush you feel from the music playing, from realizing a wrestler can be in your section at any moment, or a spot could happen feet away from you. Like last year at Double or Nothing, there was Claudio and Nick Jackson came near my section, and I like lost my shit on camera. And Brandon actually texted me like, "Holy shit! Like I didn't realize you were at this match." Like it's just, again, it's something that's not just the analysis of the individual moves, but the atmosphere of absorbing the entire spectacle. I think is not fully captured on TV, even though there are similarities. Like I also thought this was the weakest one, for example. Go ahead.
So how would you, like, as far as the atmosphere, going from T-Mobile to MGM Grand, did that hurt or help? The fact that it's a little bit smaller of a building, maybe stuff is a little bit more condensed as far as the action. Did that hurt or help the match compared to like the last two?
Well, so I will say for the show as a whole, I thought it helped. Like I thought the undercard, everything feeling so hot, maybe that wouldn't have been the same if it was in the T-Mobile Arena this year compared to like prior years.
Right.
Whereas for this match itself, I thought the beginning, it definitely helped. But I also thought, biased, of course, I thought the final countdown was the hottest start we've had to this match, all three. As cool as it was the first time that Wild Thing was playing and it wasn't stopping, like the energy when it came to singing the final countdown was just infectious. So I feel like that would have been strong in any arena, but I feel like throughout the match, I do think the venue did help, where you can absorb the crowd better in MGM Grand when the action's not in your area. If the action's in your area, you're going to be hot no matter what. But I feel like this year you were better able to absorb the hotness of the arena, even when you were more removed from the action. I would say it was a little more removed this year than I was the last 2 years. But still, it's just a fun feeling, man. And I've talked to other fans there that have, like me, have gone to all these matches. You just got to experience it. Like you feel like you're at a concert. Like it's so much fun. And it's a unique wrestling experience that you get from all these other matches. I will say the finish for this one dragged a little bit. Like once you introduce that crane, as cool of a spot as it is, if like you can't really focus on anything else until the crane thing resolves itself. Like until Darby's hung, you're not really looking anywhere else. You're just like what's going on here? And I felt like that took a little too long, which made the finish kind of stall out a little bit. But yeah, otherwise it's an infectious energy, man. I highly recommend anyone seeing one of these live if you can.
I love Okada going, I'm not taking any of this dumb shit. I think he took like maybe one bump. I know he did the elbow drop through the table and you couldn't really see it. And other than that, he didn't really do anything at all. He took traditional wrestling bumps. He had on his fucking gear. He didn't do anything, man, except what I thought was the second coolest spot of the whole match. Like the fire to me, I think we all can agree that was the coolest spot, right? Like, I mean, right? Like I thought that was awesome, right? Yeah,
I liked it.
The second coolest spot to me was the Rainmaker with the thumbtacks. That's so creative. He put on the slide like look at Deathmatch Okada. I thought that was cool, man. Yeah, I thought this, look, hot take again. The only one of these that I ever thought was like truly spectacular is what's that first one with Eddie Kingston pouring the fire on the lighter fluid on Chris Jericho. I thought that match was spectacular. One of my favorite matches of the year that year. But I kind of like this more than last year. That
did as well.
I guess I'm the guy. Because I think last year to me, I like the honestly the story better going into this one. Even though I don't like this authority figure shit, I wasn't as invested as I was, you know what I mean, like last year as I was into this year's, just because of everything that they did with the Young Bucks and Okada and all them going into this. I thought they did a good job with it. And plus this one felt like it had like more stakes. Because like this feels like it might change like the TV going forward, the fact that they won. And before it was just like, okay, the heels won. You know what I mean? So yeah. But what were you about to say, kid?
Just that I will say Brandon kind of alluded to this. This match is gonna have more memorable spots than last year. Like your flamethrower, you're always gonna remember Darby being hung. Years from now, when we talk about Anarchy in the Arena highlights, we will bring up the moments in this match. Year's match. I thought last year's was a little bit better though.
Is he cutting out for y'all or he cutting out for me?
Yeah, he's cutting out. We got enough of it.
All right,
we got enough.
Y'all hear me now?
Yeah, I caught the gist of what he was saying.
Yeah.
Definitely more memorable. I mean, if I think about last year, the only thing I can really remember was just the super kick spot. And I'm sure if I heard of some other stuff, it'll be like, oh yeah, that happened. Oh yeah, that happened. But
and the music, yeah, which added like
the band playing. I hated that. I hate that band playing.
Oh yeah, because there was a live band playing.
The live band was last year. Yeah, the year before was great when they just played over the intercom, whatever. But yeah, that live band was trash.
That was weird.
But no, I mean, it was still like they're definitely probably going to do this every year now, which I think is problematic, maybe, but we'll see. And it's definitely leading to.
I would prefer to see this every year versus Blood and Guts, personally.
I kind of agree because my thing with
here's
the thing. Here's the thing. I would rather. The thing with Blood and Guts is they keep booking to Blood and Guts, and I would rather them just say, "Hey, we're going to do a Blood and Guts match," and make it like an old-fashioned Survivor Series match where you just have a bunch of dudes that are feuding with each other, because they did War Games matches like that where it was just a bunch of dudes feuding with each other that decided, hey, we can all team up and we can take out our enemies. To me, that's better than doing these
hey, like giant talent teams and everything, which they're going to do this year,
right?
You know, Team AEW versus the Elite, but
right, instead of
more control of the company. Y'all ready for that?
Like the thing is, they've done a good job with this, but as everyone has said, this has been so done, and the only company that in the last 15 years that has done this good was Lucha Underground, and they did it so everybody else.
Respect to Lethal Lockdown, okay? Show some respect to Lethal Lockdown.
No. I'm saying
hold on. Lucha Underground and Chikara. Come on now. Put some respect on the BDK. I'm just saying.
But come on.
Come on, what? Me and Kid will whoop your ass.
I ain't got no bone with that one. They gonna own that one.
Felt like
standing up. That's what I mean. Other than that, though, and you're not going to do that, then you can't really. And BDK, to be fair, is much more of like the old, Japanese, invasion angles where like the NWO should have been, and then Lucha Underground.
I give all right. You saved it. You're right.
Where Lucha Underground was literally like
Dario was crazy.
Yeah, Dario, but the thing is, Dario wasn't just like a heel. Even though he was a heel, he was like a beloved heel, right? He would do things where the fans would be like, "Fuck yeah," right, and not always.
It would all depend on who it would affect. Because he had his own little enemies.
He had his own and was he doing something because he thought it was cool? Was he doing something because he thought it was the right thing to do, or was he doing something just because he was being a dick? Right? It was one of those three things. where instead of just doing we're just going to do shit to be a dick. So
because there were heels that he didn't like Mil Muertes, and
Right.
there was faces that he fucked with, and there
Right.
were other faces that he didn't like. It would just all depend on who it was.
So
good point. The Dario Dal of Doom. Oh man, I miss Lucha Underground, man. I miss Lucha Underground.
It's on.
Jesus,
it's
man.
on. What's it on? Tubi, I think it's on Tubi.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You lying to me?
No, it's like they have all
the streaming somewhere. Yeah, one of those apps is streaming.
Yeah, it's one of the free apps that you can watch all the episodes.
Crackle, maybe one of those.
No, it's like Tubi or I think it's Tubi.
I'm looking now. Go ahead.
I don't think it's the Roku channel. I think it's Tubi.
On this match, I just wanted to include two things before my connection got lost. One, I do think they need to change the formula a bit. Heels win, Anarchy in the arena, face team wins, blood and guts.
Yeah.
It's getting a little repetitive for me. Even the last year, it was supposed to be a big deal that Wheeler Yuta pinned Kenny Omega. It wasn't really. And then this year you have
Damn, I forgot that happened. That's right.
And now you have Jack Perry pinning Danielson. It's like, we just got to change it up a little bit, I think, if we're going to do this every year. It would make perfect sense to me if this is the blow off to one of these feuds, and then Blood and Guts is something different. If they can somehow,
as I think, if you do Blood and Guts, it needs to be different. But
Tony just has a stick to book that in the summertime, which makes sense. That's where you get your best ratings. But still, it's like, I don't know, it's like forcing it almost.
Right. Okay.
But I do think to Markeem's point about Eddie Kingston lighting on fire, Josh, something you said earlier that kind of bothers me with commentary on AEW and this show generally. We've now romanticized 2021 and 2022 AEW to pretend like it was just this straight wrering continental classic promotion every week.
It wasn't at all. No,
Eddie Kingston lit someone on fire, and everyone was like, he didn't actually, but you get the point. No one came up and said, this is goofy sports entertainment bullshit 2 years ago. But now, because people are down in the company, you point out things that a few years ago may or may not have been acceptable, and now they're kind of bad because you're just upset with the company as a whole, rather than the individual things.
We talked about this on our Discord. Kid, why aren't you there, by the way? But we talked about this on our Discord a bit, where if it's all about human nature, and it's about bias, because we're all biased to an extent. So, and Dan talked about this, Calvin 8 Hobbs, if y'all know him, where you can't be ruled by it. You have to acknowledge your bias, because you're willing to give the benefit of the doubt to something that has kind of gained that for you, that has earned it. If something has over time lost the goodwill that you had for it, you're gonna start pointing out every little thing that you see now. That's just how humans are wired. Because when I was a naive little kid and I loved the WWE, all the little stuff that I hated, you know what I mean, I would kind of ignore. You know what I mean? Now that I'm a grown ass man, Mae Young giving birth to a hand just doesn't hit the same. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's just human nature. That's just who we are. So yeah, you're right, kid. You're right. Why aren't you on the Discord?
I will get on the Discord event. By the way, this is a shocking amount of people have messaged me asking why I'm not on the Discord. So what you guys got going on over there is clearly working very, very well.
That's good to hear.
But this company was founded on goofiness, and I won't fight you guys on comparing the goofiness of the past to the goofiness on MJF. We've had that discussion before, but this whole thing started with Cornette saying the elite are too goofy and corny to be over to a national audience, and us defending them, saying yes, but they're real, they're great wrestlers, they fit in with modern wrestling fans. And some people I feel lost sight of how this whole thing started. That's all.
That's a good point. That's a damn good point.
I think I will say this. I think you got a shift in when AEW started, you had a lot of what was hot on the indies at the time was kind of the meme wrestling and the goofy wrestling and more comedic stuff to a lot of degree. And I think AEW leaned into that. But I think if you kind of look, wrestling fans as a whole have kind of deviated from that a little bit. And I think that's part of it. I do agree. I think that people nitpick a lot, but I think the nitpicking has a lot to do with just people down on AEW. And being down on AEW, they're going to dogpile. and they're going to pick out, like Markeem said, every little thing that maybe bugged them, but not to the extent that it did before. But we should get on to the next topics.
Quick question.
Yes.
Is this show in Vegas next year?
Please, don't take this away from me.
It's too close, man. It's way too close. I don't think you can do it.
What do you mean?
WrestleMania is like the month before.
Yeah, not counter programming at all, by the way. I'm sure.
No. That
had nothing to do with their decision to go to.
It doesn't. I'll defend them. It has nothing to do with them.
The only way that you can make that point is if they move WrestleMania back. If they move WrestleMania back, and it's not in the normal 2.
Yeah, like.
Well, it is in a different date this year. I mean, next year. So it's Easter weekend. So it's like the middle of April.
That's what I'm like. Come on, Brandon.
But this is Vegas. They've yet to run that stadium. They always like to run the new stadiums, right. And it just makes sense. Like it's not like they weren't going to go to Vegas.
And Vegas has wanted WrestleMania for a while, especially since WrestleMania became WrestleMania. So we can have that. What I'm curious about with that is because we know how WWE is, and when they set these deals with these cities, how the other shows are gonna like function in Vegas, because that's usually an issue. Like you can't run so close to so we'll see.
They took that weekend back, man. I don't know about these next year.
But anyways.
Do you what? Do you stop the tradition and then bring it back to your
it's better than WrestleMania 9. That's funny.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, it might be worth it just a year. Like, let's move out of here
and let's go
come back. I know I want to stay in Atlantic City. Like, don't go to that dump. But yeah, you can go somewhere for 1 year and then bring it back afterwards.
You could do Ash. You could do Arthur Ashe. That would be for a pay-per-view. I think that would be pretty cool if you could do that. So.
Kids like, nah, I want Vegas. Stop playing.
sorry to ruin your trips for next year already.
Listen, as long as they keep it on Memorial Day weekend, I'm pretty sure I'll still be able to go.
It would be Memorial Day weekend.
There's something cool about going to the same place every time.
But anyways, we should talk about I will not spend a whole bunch of time on this.
She ain't going nowhere, bro. She ain't going nowhere.
I'm talking about the other thing. So there was a report that came out saying that the deal that currently is on the table from Warner Brothers was disappointing. Yeah, was disappointing.
I'm going to put that
in quotes because I'm going to explain how I see this by Tony Khan. So disappointing can mean a lot of things. If he's looking, I'm going to say this first because I think this is one of the things he's big looking for. If he's looking for a pay-per-view deal with Warner Brother Discovery, like what UFC has with ESPN, where basically he just sells them the pay-per-views and he gets paid for them and it doesn't matter what they do. I think that's one of the things he wants. I don't think that I could see him not getting and him being kind of disappointed in that. Also, if ROH is not bundled into this in some way, I could see him being disappointed in that. I don't think the actual money figure is probably the disappointing part. That's my take on it. I could be wrong. I would think if that was the issue. Plus, we'll see once the exclusivity thing runs out. Like that's gonna be the big thing.
WBD.
Yeah, when they can negotiate with other people and see just who else is interested, because you might have somebody who we don't think is interested, and then it becomes something different. So that's my take on it.
I'm not saying Fox will do it, but they spent a bunch of money on the WWE, and they can go, hey, we can keep wrestling.
Or Amazon.
Spend as much.
Amazon spent money on one championship. So when the last time you watched a one championship show? Probably never. But he spent money on it. So,
but do
you be out there?
Do you go to Amazon or do you go to take it completely off the TV?
I don't say it would be a situation where you probably maybe split off, like try to have multiple partners.
Things.
Yeah, if you can keep Dynamite on that channel and then worry about your rampages and collisions in your April. Yeah, for sure. Then just kind of go from there. But.
Yeah, I think personally, I think you need to keep. I am not of the belief that you need to take everything off onto a streaming channel. I think you have to have at least one thing on where people can flip around and come to it, and it not just be like, hey, I gotta watch at this point, this time, type of thing. But that's just me. But anyways, either of you have anything else to say about this?
Fans out there should be careful. Nick Khan, this is Nick Khan's world. You will hear a ton of shit leaking about this until it's done. So just I'm not saying the report is wrong. Just be wary that this is his world.
Though apparently this was more of a Tony guy, and it may just be Tony leaking stuff because he wants a better deal too. So there's a lot of things to it. So
games.
You got anything, Marquine?
I mean, like y'all get into the money and the TV and all that shit.
And people, y'all gotta stop worrying, bro. It's gonna AEW ain't going away.
Oh yeah.
Gotta stop worrying.
That's getting on my nerves. People just thinking that they might not.
I'm talking about the fans too. Like they're just gloom and doom. Like y'all need to chill out. It's gonna be all right.
Like if you think Warner Brothers Discovery is not happy with AEW, you're crazy, bro.
It's just how
usually the number one show on TV.
It's literally just how happy
on cable,
right? Yeah. And that's all it is. No, I agree. We're making a bigger deal of this. My point is that people are making a bigger deal of it, and that if you read the wording isn't. People see disappointed and they doom and gloom and not realize that there's other parts of this that have been talked about since the last deal was pretty much that things Tony would want in this deal. So that was more of my point.
You have some bad faith actors and you have some declining ratings, and the conversation is going to get very loud about what all of it means. At the end of the day, they're going to get
the thing about the ratings is yes, they've dropped a lot, but so has all of cable TV.
Yep.
That's the other thing. Everything has just like so. There is that.
I agree with you. I'm just telling people don't pay attention to that.
So. Anyways.
You want me to watch Monday Night Raw? Is that what you said?
No, I'm talking about the ratings. That's all.
Whatever. I don't care what you do.
Don't watch the show. Hell no.
But then we can talk about Becky. I don't think she's going anywhere either. I do think it's interesting that WWE, like a lot of people, like I said, hey, because she posted a picture, was definitely WWE.
It's weird they let it get this far.
It is weird that yeah. And are they? My one thing is, are they doing a shoot and are they going to be dumb like Eric Bischoff and make the same mistake Eric Bischoff made with Pillman, and they get themselves in a shoot thinking, oh, well, she's coming back, there's no worry, and then Tony just backs up the Brinks truck and like, what do you want? I'll pay you, I'll give you the Roman deal. There you go.
It also could be a perception thing where like, hey, like maybe they do have something locked up. And maybe they let it seem like, oh, maybe she has a chance to go to AEW, but then no, we make sure to get her back, and it's a win, another win for our company. So it could be a perception thing in regards to that,
right? As well,
they could have also agreed to something without the contract officially being extended, so that when those reports go to SRS, he's not lying when he says the contract is up this week. But
apparently she's going to be gone for a while, anyways. Apparently that was So
I imagine it's probably some sort of handshake deal. They know what's up.
I mean, now should she have definitely used Tony against WWE? Fuck yes. I think Drew did that, to be honest, even though Drew's contract never came to the end.
Randy Orton did that. You know what I mean? Even Randy Orton did that shit. Everyone should do that.
Everybody should, you don't be Finn Balor. Don't be Finn Balor and be dumb. Even though I think he ended up in the place he probably should have been, because I think you go to WWE, I think you go to AEW, I think he gets completely lost in the shuffle where, he doesn't have to do anything really, but
same thing for AEW people. Like they shouldn't really sign anything until they talk to the other side if they have the opportunity to do so.
Like I want people to move. I want, like, the one thing about, and I know Marquine went off about Mercedes. The one thing about Mercedes though, if her deal is what everyone says her deal is, that means that Becky should be making super bank.
Oh, Becky should definitely do. Becky should definitely demand more money.
But I'm just saying.
If Mercedes got the highest contract that any woman has ever gotten in the history of pro wrestling, Becky should get more.
Right.
Becky should definitely be like, hey, whatever you get, I want something that makes that look stupid. That's what she should do.
I wouldn't say stupid, but what I'm saying is that it raises that.
I would, John. I would.
But anyways,
this woman at one point was not anymore, but at one point maybe was the biggest star in pro wrestling. And you never said that about no fucking.
Hey man, she helped that NXT show get a really, really good deal from CW. So
yes, she did. Yes, she
should
did.
be rewarded because of that.
And, and if the thing is she wants a Roman type deal, they should give her a Roman type deal because they're already like. I think to me, I look at that as, hey, we get to keep her, and also we get to use her as a special attraction. She comes off special, and we can push some of these other women in her spot that we want to push. That's not Liv Morgan, but that's beside the point.
And on this topic too, fans should.
That was me. Careful. Y'all think I'm a hate? That was me. That was unnecessary.
Be careful because Hunter and Khan will probably leak something to make you think that she's actually going to walk, and then they're just going to have that picture where they pose with her, they're pointing at each other,
shaking their hand,
look like the smartest guys in the room. Like, just be careful. Like, they're setting you up for that.
That's close. Yeah.
Like I would be shocked if she left. I will say that. And I've always felt that way. I felt more her than even Seth. Like I always thought there was a chance if Seth was just like, fuck this, I want to prove something, but
especially in that space right now,
right?
I know he thought about it. I know for a fact he thought about it. Just knowing the way he talks and stuff, he thought about it. It crossed his mind.
But you figure they're both lifers. That would be shocking, and I'm not just saying that because I don't like WWE. I literally think that would to me would be like Cody leaving AEW. That would be the same type of thing to me because I just can't see her.
Maybe a little bit bigger.
Yeah. So,
Travis just commented. Jordan Grace just showed up on NXT. Well, is her contract up? What's
wonderful. You watch NXT, you're a pervert. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, I legitimately think that you are a pervert if you watch that show. You don't watch no damn NXT. Sexy Red was on that show tonight. Like, what is he doing? Like,
yeah. What's going on with that? I'm kind of curious, man. I'm not gonna lie.
What is he doing? What I'm curious about is that there's a report came out that said a lot of AEW contracts are starting to come up, and it's interesting how people are wording this. Like Mark Henry was like, "I decided not to re-sign with AEW," but it seemed like they just let his contract lapse.
It ain't. Who gives a fuck, Mark?
I mean,
but I think a lot of people are going to start seeing a lot of people like that.
Yeah, I think you're going to see because it's bloated and
those 2021 contracts coming up.
Right, and they signed him with the idea that he would help them like get in with a lot of nonprofits and stuff. So,
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if Tony also, for some of these people, you give him an extension that's clearly at a discount, like the kind of thing, like when you see this in other sports where it's like, I know you're not going to take this, but I give you the chance to keep face by saying you left.
Yeah. The Lex Luger deal. Like, damn, you took that? All right, cool.
All right. I think that's it. I think that's we're good. Again, no chase, so no special videos or anything, but we'll be back.
I got no Puro stuff, nothing. So y'all don't need to hear me rant. So.
Yeah. But we do have the Discord. We talked about it last time. Everyone is pretty much welcome. Just don't be a dick and don't be, a jerk.
I'm living it so far, guys. Keep up the vibes,
and we got lots of stuff to talk. It's not just like a wrestling thing. We've got a sports channel. We've got a video
comics, video games,
comics,
movies, music,
board games. Me and Calvin, Dan, we've got a board game thing that we talk about, like stupid board games and just anything. And we got a channel for. We will get to X-Men 97. Me and Marky will get to X-Men 97. We've talked about it. We just our schedules have to be clear. So at the same time for us to talk about it. We will talk about it because we have a lot to talk about when it comes to that. But we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Hopefully Chase is back then. So
yeah, Keith bounced. Peace.